And we are live on Facebook. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome and thank you very much for joining us tonight on Facebook Live with Mel Raposo, our Wednesday night normal. Tonight, as you can see, my good friend Charlie is taking the night off. Um, not for any reason. He just said, let's just go back to the original Facebook Live on your Wednesday where you do solo. But I had a call from a good friend of mine right there that you can see. His name is Ed Saunders. Some of you may recognize him. He was the general manager for the Pagoda Hotel for many, many, many years. He looks a little older today, but,
A
but
lot older.
you all know, almost 30 years in the hotel industry. And I wanted to get his insight on what's happening, number one, on Oahu, and as a resident of Oahu, and then number two, as a former hotel executive, talking a little bit about that industry, and the bottom line is I'm going to ask him the question: why would you, as a tourist, want to come to Hawaii? But anyway, thank you again, and again, shoot your, let me see, I'm going to make sure I got my iPad here to make sure we're live first of all, and of course, check out the comments that you guys are sending. Patsy's busy baking tonight. There we go. Okay, so we are on. And I'm just going to make sure I can get the comments. Hang on. Okay, I don't know why this thing doesn't show the comments. There we go. Okay. All right. Now I got you guys. Thank you guys all. Okay, I'm not going to go down the list because we're going to waste time. Tonight won't be that long. We're just going to hit the topics. I want to start off with the numbers. You guys all saw the new numbers. State up 834 cases from yesterday. You see, we talk about this every week, every night. The numbers are going to climb every single day until we hit the peak, and then we'll be on the other side. And the whole focus, as you all know, is to get to the other side of this curve as soon as possible. Kauai remains at 12. Remains at 12. We haven't seen an increase. Thank God. I thank God every day. And I think a lot of that has to do with the early rules that were put into place by Mayor Kawakami, the curfew, the quarantines, the stay-at-home orders. I believe that is why we are at that low number now. Again, and I keep saying this: don't let that low number fool you, because we still got a lot of tests pending. We still got a lot of tests that haven't been sent out yet. So we count our blessings. We thank God, but we got to understand that that number will rise, and we want to get ahead of the game. And I think you all are doing a good job for the most part. I receive, as you can imagine, hundreds of messages a day, text messages, emails, and I appreciate all of that. This ain't no complaint. I appreciate you guys sending me all the information and the complaints and whatever. And I did want to send a shout out to two people, Sarah Blaine and Sue Kanoho. They have been ultra responsive to everything I send over. They have responded immediately, sent out the people that need to be sent out. And I just want people to understand that our resources are tapped right now. Our police department, they're out there doing the best they can. And, I know we're impatient people by nature, but we got to understand that these guys have a lot of stuff on their plate. So, cut them some slack. And as you send things to me, remember the chief said last night, if you witness a violation of the quarantine or of the stay-at-home order, call the non-emergency number, 241-1711. The officers can respond much quicker than if you send it to me and then I send it to them. So if you witness or in the presence of a violation happening in front of you, please don't hesitate. Call the 241-1711 and have the officers respond. We saw today a lot of tourists still on the beach, hanging out, enjoying their vacation. And we'll get to that, Ed, in a little bit. They just ignore the order. And it's frustrating because all of us local residents here are being told you cannot lay on the beach. There's a $5,000 fine. And here comes the tourists with their beautiful bikinis and nice shorts, and they're hanging out on the beach while our local people watch while they're rushing to and from the store or to and from work. So kudos to KPD. I saw two videos today from two different times where the officers went on a beach and kicked those tourists off the beach. Some are saying, why are they not arresting them? Why are they not citing them? We're giving them warnings. Get off the beach and don't come back. And I would assume that it's gonna be a little while before the department starts citing these people because they're just not getting the message. So, Ed,
Yes, sir.
Saunders,
Yes,
you live
sir.
on Oahu. You live on Oahu. You guys I see your mayor's a little bit behind Kauai, a little bit, couple steps behind of our mayor. But what is it like? What is it like for the Honolulu resident that, I mean, you normally have a lot of traffic, a lot of people all over the place. What's it like on Oahu?
Well, traffic-wise is not even near what a normal work week is, obviously. So for those people who are staying home and hanging out with their families, God bless them. There's still a lot of traffic. I mean, there's still a lot of moving around, getting to stores, picking up supplies. Lowe's and Home Depot are considered as essential. Likewise with some of the other hardware stores. So you've got people going in there for all kinds of reasons, whether they be purchasing, light bulbs or returning stuff from 4 to 5 years ago. They're still flooding the stores and they're putting these employees at risk. So, the stores have to be a little bit more responsible in the sense of saying, you know what, only essential purchases, and list what those purchases are. My concern right now is that all the stores that are open, those employees are exposed. And I've seen people walking into these stores coughing. I've seen them with multiple families walking in together. We're just not doing enough to protect the general workforce that are considered as essential.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people have concerns about what's essential, what's non-essential, and at some point, as this curve flattens, I think you'll see more of the non-essential businesses start opening up. But at some point, right now, because we haven't even seen the peak, I think a lot of people, including myself, were concerned that we're still having a little bit too much access and too much contact, where this virus can be spread from a very, very contagious virus. It's, unlike anything we've ever seen. But so I know a lot of people are concerned about that. A lot of non-essential workers that are home, want to get back to work. But I think we all agree that will not happen until we get a handle on this virus.
Oh, absolutely. And I think that until the governor uses his executive force in order to say, you know what, I'm going to give everybody a 1 week head start to get what you got to get, take care of what you got to get, but we're shutting down. And we need to do this to curb or to flatten the amount of cases. I've spoken to people in the professional field, the medical field, and there's a strong debate whether the state is reporting accurate numbers or not. And we go according to what the media tells us, but when you hear secondhand information that the cases could possibly be much higher, that again is the whole reason why we've been pushing the governor from the beginning to do a complete shutdown. And until that happens, there was a report that came out yesterday. It was posted on Facebook and it was circulated, and I don't know the accuracy of it honestly, but it shows that Kailua, where I live, and Kaneohe is a hotspot.
Absolutely, it is. According to the records, you see, the problem with the numbers, and I agree. I question the validity just by watching the governor's meetings, the task force meetings every morning on TV. I'm not very confident with our state director of health. I'm not very confident that he was asked on several occasions, how many tests are out there pending? I cannot answer that question. I don't know, blah, blah, blah. So I question, I'm not sure. It's hard because we don't know how many tests were given on Kauai, how many tests came back, how many tests are still in process? We don't know that. And I think a lot of people are wondering, is this a false sense of hope or false sense of security when you see, especially on Kauai, we go 3 days in a row with no increases. And like I said, I thank God for that. But again, we also got to remember that these are numbers that are being produced by the state. And I'm not sure, like you, how accurate they are. And that is a very big concern for me. The other thing that you mentioned, a lot of misinformation out there. Today I realized there's two universities, Facebook University and Twitter University, that people are getting educated from. They put it on Facebook, it spreads, it goes viral. And I can tell you this because I receive a lot of information from the public from all over. And as we investigate the allegations, I won't say all of them because we got some legitimate complaints and violations going on, but we also have some information that's not accurate. And I'm not trying to discourage people from sending it to me. Let me find out. Let me find out if it's accurate or not, and then we'll post. Do not post and then ask Mel Raposo to go find out if this is true, because by then it's viral, and then it's just a problem. So. And that's kind of what it is. I think regardless of what the numbers are, and I understand a lot of people want to know, hey, where are these guys that test positive? Where are they? I think that's very important information that we should be given. But that's not going to change. So that is why it's so important for all of us, to practice the rules or follow the rules. The social distancing, to me, is the most important thing we can do. Washing your hands every single time, keeping your throat dry, drinking a sip of water or hot tea or coffee, every 15 minutes, making sure that you do the best you can to protect you from getting the virus or from passing it out. I said this a long time ago.
Yeah.
Just act as if you have the virus and everyone else has the virus, and then you'll be careful. But we got to change our mindset, and we got to, especially when we have people that's running around that really do not care about that. So we need to protect ourselves and our families and our loved ones, and we should all be okay.
Well, it's interesting. The report came out yesterday, and we were driving through Kailua town today, and I don't know how many people understand or even know how severe this thing is on the windward side. And people are just going about their business as usual. And that's the reason why, if you leave it to people to censor themselves, to stay home and do all the things that they're asked to do, we are going to fail. We've been pressing people about the 6 feet, the cleaning, doing all the right things. But I see it every single day. People are not. That's why the only other option is the governor needs to shut down the state. That's the only way to do it. Is it an overreaction? No. You give people a heads up to get whatever stuff that they need, okay? And then you shut it down. To hear that Kailua is a hotspot where my mom, who's 77 years old, lives, scares me. She can no longer have anybody come visit her house. So, with that being said, we need to do more, and we need to do more now.
And I've said it. Pretty soon, you cannot blame the tourists, people. Cannot blame the tourists because they're leaving. They're all leaving. We still got a few stragglers around here and there. Flights have been cut dramatically. Hawaiian Airlines, 4 flights a day. Many mainland flights have been canceled. Very few people stepping in. You guys are getting a little, but we're getting very few. So we got to take it upon ourselves. We have to take it upon ourselves to take care of your family, your mom, and everyone else, because we cannot leave it for everyone else. It was about 3 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago, I did a Facebook Live. I was so angry watching the press conference from the governor. I'm not going to rehash that or beat that dead horse, but many of the things that I spoke of, shutting down, getting all the councils and the mayors and the governor to to come together with a strong resolution to the president to stop the flights, the quarantining, the mandatory shutdown, all of these things we talked about 3 weeks ago. And I was accused of, man, what, God, you're overreacting. No, we're not. You know what? We're late. So while I commend the governor for now, he has the inter island quarantine. So all inter island flights starting tomorrow. I guess it was today. It was today.
Yeah.
They all got to fill out a form. They all got to go home, and they got to stay at home.
Yeah.
I understand all of that, but how much damage has been done in the last 2 to 3 weeks because we didn't act. Now we have the protocols in place. Like you said, Ed, we have the protocols in place. People are just not adhering. And our mayor, I had the mayor on our Facebook Live a few days ago. He said, he's been very generous, and he has allowing people to go to the beach and swim and surf and fish. But if he doesn't see discipline, if he doesn't see our residents following the rules and abusing that, I love his words. He said, I'll clip it.
Yep.
And he's serious. And then I hope he clips it, because people are abusing the system. And there is no need for be out unless you're buying groceries or going to the doctor or doing any of those essential things.
Yeah. No,
So
I totally agree. I think that when I listen to a certain person that speaks on behalf of the hotel industry a few weeks ago, I was disturbed to hear that it just seems like we were overly sensitive of protecting the integrity and the image of our visitor industry versus the safety of our people. And at that moment, you can't have the best of both worlds. You need to protect our resources here on the island. And if that means that we need to shut all incoming flights and outbound flights and only allow essential workers on this island, and start a process of removing our visitors off the island, that is something that has to be taken very seriously. And I don't believe that it was. I just think that we just dragged our feet. We're more concerned about, what could happen in 6 months when this thing all blows over and the reputation of Hawaii is not like it used to be. At this point, our obligation is to take care of our people, our employees, protect them. We keep exposing them every time we allow a flight arrive at the airport. Who do you think has to confront them?
I think many of us took away the same from that press conference. I mean, it was very obvious that there was more concern of the inconveniencing of a visitor than the lives of our people. And again, very disappointed with that. But I think for Kauai, because the strict measures were put in place and the word is out, I do a Facebook Live. We're doing it every night. Charlie Yona, I think Charlie's on tonight. Hi, Charlie. We miss you, buddy. We have been doing this every night for the last few nights. We're going to do it every night until we flatten this curve, because we need to get this in everybody's head. And I see you're frozen, Ed. Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here, but I don't know where it went, man.
Yeah, your video is frozen. Hopefully you'll come back. But that's all right. Just stay on. We got your face on there. That's the main thing.
Okay.
So Charlie and I made the commitment that we're going to do this every night, and we're going to bring on guests. We're going to do what we got to do to keep people's attention so that we can get the word out. Stay at home. Focus on the rules, and just do what you're supposed to do. Do what you're supposed to do. People need to understand that it's going to get worse before it gets better. We're seeing it in the numbers. That's the trend. Hawaii is no different than New York or Washington State or anywhere else. The trend is still there. We are going to get up. We're going to peak, and then we'll come on the other side. But right now, we're in the security phase. We're in the phase that our focus right now is to save lives. It is to save people's lives, not to worry about the economy. I know it's on everybody's mind. You got bills to pay. But right now, we got to focus on the lives. And then after this, we'll enter the recovery phase. And some of the recovery tools are in place. We got the SBA's offering all kinds of loans and grants, and the income tax has been extended, and the stimulus package is coming out. And there's a Hawaii Resiliency Fund giving $1,000 for people that are struggling and need help with the mortgage or the rent. So there are options as far as, and in the infancy stage of the security phase. But once we get past the curve, then we start focusing on the recovery. And Ed, you were in the hotel industry almost 30 years. You've been through hurricanes and 9/11. And in your opinion,
Mhm.
it won't be long for this visitor industry to rebound, correct?
Oh, we've seen it after many, many downturns in the economy. We saw it after, the Gulf War. We saw after SARS. We saw after the real estate market crash. There's just a natural pent up need to travel. People are not programmed to stay home. They want to get out. They want to do things. They want to enjoy things. And, Hawaii has always been a fantastic destination, and we are going to rebound. Um, nobody has uh, a date or saying, okay, this is when we expect everything to start to materialize. It's just through attrition that the industry builds itself back up. I've seen it for 30 years. I saw when the cycle was 5 years. I saw it when the cycle went down to 3 years. And then you couple that with 9/11, when airlines inbound flights were shut down, hotel occupancies dropped to the 20s. It was a very uncomfortable situation for for the hotel industry as a whole. Um, but just through perseverance and just through the trust of our government, knowing that we're going to get through these things and reinstilling safety and practicality, it starts to regain the trust of people to the point where they now want to travel again. And it's going to happen. But that's not going to happen if our state is contaminated. If the rest of the states all take care of their stuff, and Hawaii is still struggling with containing this virus, it's going to take a long time for us to recover. The power of this situation is within the people. If everybody does what they're supposed to be doing, we'll curve this. We'll be able to get back on our feet. But when you get people who don't care, don't wear masks, coughing in front of people, or stores that are not protecting their employees, this thing is going to take a while, but we have to do this. I mean, it sounds like I'm a cheerleader, but the fact of the matter is, this is the only time in world history where the power of the people and their choices will help redefine this situation. And we can get through this. Nobody wants government to mandate stuff. We don't want government to tell us when to go to sleep and when to do certain things. But if they have to do that, that's just telling you that we're not doing our job. And unfortunately, now you put the burden on the police department and other law enforcement agencies to make sure that people are complying. And so, it's just, I sound like I'm preaching to the choir, but the fact of the matter is, we've got to encourage everybody to do the right thing.
Yeah, people got to understand that the longer this phase, the longer that we stay on this side of the curve, the longer we stay there, the longer the recovery will be. See, if we can clip this early, if we can nip it, then the recovery time will be much shorter. And again, I don't want to make it seem like virus, we flatten the curve and in 3 months we're back to normal. No, I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is that if we don't take this seriously and don't flatten this curve right away, the recovery is not only going to be longer, more people are going to be hurt. There are businesses right now that have closed Done. They can't afford to stay open, so they have officially closed. There are businesses right now that are hanging on by a thread, that are going to take advantage of SBA and whatever they can. But if they don't get back and their doors don't open within the next 3 to 6 months, then they are also going to close, and we're not going to see them again. Yeah, the larger companies, larger corporations may be able to absorb this, but for the small businesses, which really is the backbone of our economy, they cannot absorb a lengthy security phase. They cannot. We gotta rush this and get to the recovery phase as soon as possible. You know, the president today declared the Hawaii, or made the emergency declaration for Hawaii. So we'll be seeing some federal monies coming our way to assist in this effort. So, as I say, every day that goes by, things change, and it's hard to keep up. But the one thing that we individually have to do is stay focused and follow the rules. See, we control that. We don't control what's happening in DC. We don't control what's happening at the white building, the square building at the state capitol. We don't control that. The leaders will do what leaders will do. And really, you know, we won't know if they made right decisions or wrong decisions until afterwards, until we do the post-event evaluation. But regardless of what they do, if we can practice the rules, so follow the rules, we can assure ourselves pretty damn close to 100% that we can protect ourselves from these viruses. And that's a simple thing. It's not very difficult. And that's what I struggle with people having a hard time just to stay at home and just do essential things. And that's the frustration. You know, we are
you cannot put billboards and tell people to be safe and, you know, all these kinds of things. It's just not working. I'm sorry. You know, where I work at, I can see the H2 freeway, which is the busiest freeway on this island. You've got traffic coming in from the airport, from Sand Island. You've got commuters, you've got commercial vehicles, and I see literally hundreds of Matson trucks pass, you know, within a half an hour, 45 minutes. And that just tells me that we don't have this thing under control. People are still going about their business. So, you know, I appreciate all the efforts that, you know, the media has made to, you know, communicate the seriousness of this virus and, you know, try to encourage people to stay home. But at what point do you say, man, this is ridiculous? People are just going about their business like there's no fear. And that's where the governor needs to enact his executive order and say, you know what, everybody stay home. That's the only way we are going to kick this.
I agree. And, you know, nobody wants martial law here. You know, nobody wants martial law. I don't want to see martial law here. You know, I made a suggestion that we activate the National Guard to provide the security for the mandatory quarantine that the governor should have done for visitors that came to Kauai and to Honolulu and to Maui, and that the National Guard would be in charge. In other words, you take these guys they come off the plane, they don't go to the hotel, not their hotel. They go to a hotel that is set up for quarantine visitors. They come off the plane, they get into a sanitized shuttle, they go to this quarantine hotel, they get escorted to the room, and that's where they remain for 14 days. 14 days, military will provide them with 3 MREs a day, the meals ready to eat packs. I love them. I had a lot of those in my deployments, and that's what they would get. They get, that's it, 14 days. So at the airport, you tell them. And I don't care what the governor and all these other visitor people said about, we don't want to inconvenience them. Well, I'd rather inconvenience a visitor than kill a resident. So you at the airport, you give them a shot. You give them a chance. Hey, you know what? This is where you're going to go. This is how it's going to be. For 14 days, you're going to be in a hotel room by yourself, cannot come out. Or you could go right back to the ticket counter of the airline that you came in from and go back home. See, the airplanes are coming in light. There's nobody in that. They would be more than happy to sell you a ticket to go back and make some money going back. But that's the option. That's the option you're faced with. Either you go to quarantine hotel, 14 nights, no exit, or you go back home. If we don't take that kind of hard stand, and even with these guys floating around, we arrested a guy over here for disobeying the quarantine. The guy came in the night before, next morning, out and about to go sightseeing. Same thing. Arrest him, put him in jail, put him in solitary. They worry about the COVID virus, stuck him in solitary confinement, or he can have an option of leaving back to his home state and coming back later with for his court hearing.
But you wouldn't have that problem if you stopped all inbound traffic. You wouldn't.
Excuse why? I'm sorry?
I said you wouldn't have that problem if you stopped all inbound traffic.
Oh, absolutely. That's why we screamed and yelled and everything 3 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago. And I just wish we had done it. I wish we had done it. And I know a lot of people would jumped on Trump, said, why he ain't gonna do nothing. Well, yeah, he ain't gonna do nothing if 123 people sent them online letters. I had hoped to have gotten during that whole exercise was to get the governor's attention.
Sure.
Many people saw that video. Many people wrote letters, but that the purpose was really to get the governor to pay attention. And hey, governor, this is what the people want.
Yeah.
You're putting our people at risk by allowing these flights to come in, and they're still coming. Now I see there's some movement, but I mean, you're talking when was 30,000 people coming in a day to our state down to a few hundred. Maybe we're a little late. Yeah, we could do it now, but the damage is done. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. I'm afraid that the damage is done.
Well, we can curb that by having stricter guidelines. It's not, the governor can still come out and say, we're not seeing, I mean, from what I'm reading and seeing the numbers increase every single day. I'm not into statistics. I'm not into analytics. But when I see numbers increasing over a period of time, I'm not just looking at that individual that's been affected. I'm also looking at who that person could have affected as well too. I'm hearing stories of backyard jams and people getting together, and one person was sick, and there may have been 30 to 60 people at this place. Now you've got a potential of 30, 60 other people being sick. And again, this whole social distancing is something that everybody needs to practice and take it seriously. But when you defy that and you think it'll never happen to me, you're putting other people at risk.
Well, the gentleman that passed away on Oahu, condolences out to his family. And tonight they confirmed that he in fact died from the COVID virus. He had some other health issues. He did test positive. So they wanted to find out if in fact the death was caused by COVID and not some other ailment that he was suffering from. But they confirmed today that he died because of the COVID virus. That was a cause of death. Now, he came in to the hospital, from my understanding, from what I'm hearing on the news, he came in not feeling well and he was sick. How long had he been out and about? How long was he out and about, and how many other people that he potentially infected? And I think he came from Vegas. He was a resident that had just returned from Vegas. Vegas is a hot spot.
Yeah.
We know Vegas is a hot spot. We know Washington State is a hot spot. We know that New York is a hot spot. So, I mean, the total lockdown, obviously, number one, stop the flights, best way. Number two, total lockdown, state got to do it. The state's got to do a complete lockdown of the state. What is essential? What is non-essential? That's the question, really. It's tough to, how do you, I see your mayor just closed down the golf courses yesterday. I think I saw it on yesterday's press conference, shut down the golf courses. But
Well, that's a
yeah, I
head scratcher.
understand.
That should have been done from the beginning.
Yeah, I know. And, I piss off a lot of golfers by saying I don't consider that essential. I understand a lot of seniors go to the golf course. We also know that a lot of seniors are vulnerable to this disease.
Hmm.
We also know that there's an opportunity for seniors to infect or get infected at a golf course.
Yep.
So that's the thing. I don't understand how you determine what's essential, what's not essential. And I just wish the governor would just do a complete statewide shutdown. Every island is consistent. No more excuse. You come from Honolulu, it doesn't matter. Same rule. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter. Um, yeah, it's kind of frustrating. So Ed, put yourself back. I know. Let me give you an opportunity to plug yourself right now. I know that you left the visitor industry and now you sell flooring.
Yeah, how's that, huh?
Yeah. Well,
Somebody,
hey, go
somebody
ahead,
told
man.
me to take
I
a
went from
carpet ride, and I
to selling cars. So why don't you take this opportunity to explain a little bit about where you work and what kind of good deals you can give to our listeners tonight?
well, after I left the hotel industry, I wanted to, uh, just consider another job opportunity that I get to work with people. And I've always been interested in the building and construction industry. And the company that I work with is actually Bougainville Flooring Superstore. We're located right in Salt Lake. Um, we just celebrated 30 years. Our owner, David Arita, is a Wailua born, and he started this company from ground up. We strongly believe in the Christian values. In fact, our corporation's foundations are all Christian based. Um, but we offer all flooring from everything from carpet to waterproof flooring to ceramic, porcelain, you name it, we got it all.
So we'll make sure we'll post your contact information. You get a very
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
we're going to get a Facebook Live special discount. We'll work on that. And anybody looking for flooring, I understand right now all the construction on Kauai anyway. Any construction that is non-essential or not affordable housing is shut down. I think that's the same on Oahu.
Well, it's getting there. I think for the first, maybe up until this past weekend, I think people were looking at opportunities because they were home, they were bored, they saw some need to do projects, but now the attitude has changed. It's no, I don't want anybody in my house to do any kind of construction work. We're here to protect our families, and we totally get that. Um, so we're wishing everybody the best and blessings, and um, if everybody does what they're supposed to do, we are going to get through this. I've been blessed as a GM for many years, had to face many challenges, difficulties, nothing near this. But the initial approach to every situation is you take care of people, you protect them, you do the things that are right and necessary. And, we are going to rebound. But again, the success of our turnaround is going to be the people.
You talk about the construction, and I'm hearing a lot of comments coming in. We got a lot of comments coming in, but
Mhm.
the rumor, and I have no reason to doubt it, is that a lot of construction workers from Honolulu are being flown over here to work on Kauai projects. I will definitely look into that tomorrow. And for those of you, and I'm not going to mention names out here, but for those of you that are sending those concerns, there's more than one on the comments. Shoot me a private message tonight. Let me know. Give me the information that you have, and we'll definitely flush that out. Because if that is happening, that is not right. That, to me, is not right. And any contractor that is flying people here, it would have to be for a essential project. It would have to be for one of our either government projects or our our affordable housing projects. And I don't care who the hell the contractor is, by flying people here from somewhere else, I don't care if they're from Honolulu or Oregon or where, again, it's a threat to our residents on this island. It's a threat. I don't care if they're legitimately here because they work. You know what? We got a lot of unemployed carpenters and construction workers on Kauai right now. A lot of unemployed carpenters and all of these tradesmen and women that if the contractor wants to come here and continue to work, use the local resources. We don't need any people. And no offense to you, Ed, you from Oahu, but you stay your okole right where you at. Don't come here. I like you. I like you a lot, but don't come here. Stay there until this stuff is over.
Yep, I
And that's
agree.
the mindset that everybody got to have. So I'm very interested. I'm very interested in knowing more about that. Because I really am. I want to pursue that. I want to pursue that. So, okay, Ed, we're going to rewind.
Yes,
We're going to
sir.
turn back the clock. We're going to turn back the clock. You were a general manager
Yes, sir.
of a resort. You man, you've been a general manager of several properties.
Mm-hmm.
You've been in that industry for more than half of your life.
Yep.
You're a general manager. We're back a couple of months ago. Boom, coronavirus attacking Italy or China and South Korea. And what do? You have owners that are telling you, hey, I don't care. We're staying open. Then it gets worse and it gets worse. Now, all of a sudden, fast forward to about a month ago.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do, Ed, as a general manager? What do you do?
Your obligation first and foremost are to your employees. You want to keep them informed. You want to even advise them that, if they're considering buying a vehicle or making a large purchase, postpone that purchase, because the great unknown could drag out for a period of time, and that could possibly lead to unemployment. Communication with your staff is extremely essential. Our staff work hard. Some of them work 2-3 jobs. They got mortgages, kids in private and college. And you really want to look out for their best interest. Although you don't control what they do with their finances, but you want to provide advice that that they'll take serious. And you just have to do all the right things. Yeah, it's a battle when you got the owners telling you to do one thing, and but I always say that as a hotel GM, your first and foremost responsibility is to your people, is to your employees. You take care of them, you keep them informed, you update them. And this is not an easy time for any general manager. I have all the aloha for everyone out there. I've been there. I know it's not easy, but you will prevail. This is where you make your reputation in the industry. And just give words of affirmation. There is a lot of uncertainty out there. The biggest obstacle that every GM faces is having to lay off people. Nobody wants to do that. You try everything and anything you can to avoid that.
And it's even tougher. It's even tougher when you're dealing with an invisible enemy. If a hurricane hits, if 9/11 hits, and the tourist stops, right? Because it just goes to the dump.
Yep.
It's a lot easier to explain to your staff why you got to close. Obviously, if there's no tourists, you close. And this is the problem that I saw in this situation. When the visitor industry, and I don't mean to put you on the spot, Ed, and feel free to hit that checkout button and you can disappear and you can tell everybody it was an electronic problem or a technical problem. But this is what happened, Ed, and this is what infuriates me. Once the visitor industry found out that this threat was coming, this threat was real. This wasn't any hype. It was real. What I saw happen was airlines started offering cheap rates. Hotels started offering cheap rates. Rental cars started offering cheap rates. Packages, room and car packages, getaway, enjoy your quarantine in paradise. I've seen this with my own eyes. What is your position on that, Ed? As a local boy, born and raised Honolulu, family all over the island, throughout the state, knowing that every time we bring in a plane of tourists, visitors, we're risking the lives of our loved ones. I mean, how do you what do you got to say about those types of operations that did that and continue to do so?
Well, I think on the onset, I think a lot of it had to do with lack of information. Every day we're learning more and more of this virus. I think the visitor industry probably took it like everybody else. They didn't understand the severity of it. And they did what they felt was necessary at that point to generate more business, whether it be lowering airline flights, discounting hotel rates, offering discounted room and card packages. That's what we do. That's what we're programmed to do when there's a downturn in the economy. But when more information was coming out about how deadly this virus was, the hotels had no choice but to start scaling things back. Plus, now you've got another problem. You've got 60, 70% occupancy in your hotel. That could mean up to, 2, 3, 4, 5,000 people on your property. And now you're worried about if this progresses, how am I going to get our guests off the property, or how am I going to be able to accommodate these guests? You're talking about very limited resources. You got multiple happening at the same time. You've got a drastic drop in occupancy. You've got a severe drop in revenues, but yet you still have people staying in your hotel that you still need to accommodate. You may even have some employees that don't want to come to work because they're scared.
It's a juggling act to. Ed, I'm sorry to interrupt, but your sound just went down. I don't know if it's my computer or.
Oh. Can you hear me now?
Okay, I can hear you now. Thank you. Sorry about that.
Sorry. Oh, wait, hold on. Now, can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Okay, sorry. So it's not a easy situation. It's kind of complicated in the sense that, you've got this, it's like a tidal wave that's coming. And what do you do with the people that's in your hotel? You have to make the best choices and try to accommodate them the best that you can. They're still here. And, we want to provide them as much resources to make them feel comfortable. But at some point, you have to say, we're shutting down business. We can't do this. We don't have the resources. We don't even have staff. And that's going to compromise our guests. So, if the state says, yes, let's start moving our guests, start moving them back off island, it's a concerted effort. It's not that simple, but it's something that's necessary. We have to do that. We have to do that because Hawaii has very limited resources, and I think a lot of people don't seem to understand that. Okay, that if we tell our residents lock down, that also means the people that are staying in Waikiki as well too. But I drove through Waikiki the other day, and I saw groups of people standing at Ala Moana Beach, at Waikiki Beach. So those are situations that, we need the support from the Hawaii Hotel Lodging Association to the Honolulu Police Department, to get people to respect what's happening. And they have to start minimizing these things because I'm hearing stories all over the island that people are still hanging out in pods. I don't know if they have rental cars or not, but they're moving about.
Well, we saw the hostel rooftop party I saw today, I think I saw it was 240 people cited at Alamona Beach Park, which is now closed. They're not listening. And that's what pisses me off. That really pisses me off. And this goes out to the locals too that don't listen. That pisses me off because it's, it's, I keep saying this and I know people get irritated, but it's not like they're making us do physical labor. Do push-ups and sit-ups in the house. Hey, after you do your 100 push-ups and your 100 sit-ups, you can go out. Yeah, that take me a week and a half to do 100 sit-ups and 100 push-ups. But it's stay at home. Take care of your ohana. Ed, why, you know the tourist industry, why would a visitor even want to come? Uh-oh, did I lose you?
No, I'm still here. I'm sorry.
Why would you want to go away and leave your family to go on vacation in a place that has a COVID virus? I mean,
everybody does things for their own purposes and what we might consider as, doing what is right. Mel, can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can hear you. No,
Okay.
don't want to interrupt you.
That's where the government needs to step in and say, hey, look, man, everybody has their own values. Everybody has their own belief. Everybody feels like, okay, I want to go. I don't want to stay home. I want to go do this. I want to do that. That's where the government needs to say, no, I'm sorry. I cannot control every household on this island. I cannot control every person who's a visitor on this island. It just can't happen. It's impossible. There's a million plus people on this island. But if the governor says, no, we do a complete shutdown, then you start minimizing the risk. You might even curb, some of the hot spots on this island. So when I see people still moving out and about, that just tells me we need to do much more. We have to. We can't wait. This is a problem that, it's a complex situation, but it's amazing how, human beings can fix it. We really can. But when you have people who are not disciplined, that want to do their own thing, that have their own agenda, they're the transmitters. They're the ones that put you, me, our kids, our grandchildren at risk. And the worst is our kupuna.
Yeah. That's right. All along, that was my biggest concern. Initially when this thing came out, it was the elderly and those with underlying medical conditions. Well, now we're finding out that's not really the case. You got two guys on Oahu right now. One of them is from Kauai.
Yeah.
Young guys that are on life support, and I understand both of them are getting better. Thank God. But nonetheless, this thing can hit anybody. One of your numbers
Sure.
was a child.
It doesn't discriminate.
So, it's although the issue itself, COVID, is a complex, complicated, brand new crisis that every single day we're actually building the roadmap as we go along.
Mm-hmm.
The solution, the individual solution. Again, people sick and tired of hearing this, but we're gonna pound this every single night.
You have to,
because people are not getting it, and I'm seeing it. I'm seeing it. Charlie Iona got a message from Connecticut today. Yep. Charlie does some Facebook lives on his own. His brother is not doing well with the COVID virus up there in New York.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, he's not doing well. Someone from Connecticut reached out to him today because they had some sick members in their family, and it was Charlie that had to tell this lady to call EMS.
Yeah.
Because when they called the doctor said, hey, you guys got to get her into the hospital. Well, you cannot because the whole house is sick.
Oh, geez.
My point is this. We will pound and pound and pound, whether you like it or not. You don't have to listen. You don't have to watch. But every person we tell that can tell another person that when their neighbor or their friend is saying, hey, we go down to the store. Hey, I don't really need to go to the store right now. I'm good. Versus, yeah, we go to the store because I go with you. I just go with you. No, you don't have to stay home. And I think the
Yep.
more and more and more we get this message out, the quicker we will flatten the curve.
Hey, I ran into a friend of mine the other day, and they have two daughters that are respiratory specialists at a very well-named hospital here in Honolulu. And we read things on the paper, we read things in social media, and it's getting to a point where there is no such thing as 3 degrees of separation. It's going to be a point where everybody knows somebody who's sick. And when that happens, it's going to be even a bigger problem. We don't need to know that our neighbor is sick, because guess what? There's a potential that you could be sick. But when they come home and they tell their parents every day how exhausted they are, they're grateful they selected that career. But
Yeah.
they're seeing that, it's the kupuna that are coming in, it's the young kids that are coming in that are sick. And it's, they're basically saying we've got to do more. This is going to this is going to burn out our resources, especially in our hospitals. And we need to protect our resources. I don't
Absolutely.
think people totally get it. They think, okay, there's another initiative to do it. There really isn't. The only way to enact this is to get people isolated from each other 100%. It may seem a little bombarded for some people, and to some people, they might say no. I believe that I have the right to move about and do my own thing. Well,
It,
start. Go ahead.
if your actions cause pain or injury to you, go get them. But when your actions affect other people, that is when government got to step in. Government's got to set rules. But I go back, I saw one of Charlie's comments, man, and there's so much truth to that. You gotta enforce. You gotta enforce. Stan Koga, another good comment. Sorry, I got tons of comments, but some of these comments burn in my brain. Stan Koga says, this is why it's so important to really limit the inter-island travel. Limit the movement of potentially infected people to our island, to your island, to every island. That is the goal. That is the mission. And for those that we cannot stop from coming for whatever reason, we take care of ourselves simply by following the rules. And it's not difficult rules to follow. It could be a whole lot worse. It could be a whole lot worse. And that is the thing. Ed, we're going to be winding up real quick because I don't like to keep anybody on too long.
Okay.
I did want to say thank you for coming and joining us tonight. I appreciate you calling. And
no, mahalo, man.
I'm happy because I was going to have to do this alone tonight. So I appreciate you here. Any final closing comments from you on Oahu and
no, just like I said before, I've been very vocal on Facebook. I've been very critical of our legislative team. It doesn't make any sense for us to be putting people more at risk. And the thing that's going to hurt us the most is time. The longer it takes us to make the right decisions, the more and more people are going to get sick. And I'm telling you, we need to curb this. Like I said, when I see people going to Lowe's or going to Home Depot or going to Long's Drugs and all those kinds of things, you need to draw a line in the sand and say, you know what? You take care of your essential business. By this time, we're going to do a complete shutdown. It's something that needs to happen and needs to happen right away.
Well, thank you again. We'll be back every night. Tomorrow night. I'm just saying, I don't know who's going to be the special guest tomorrow. It's a secret. I don't know. It's a secret because I haven't found anybody.
Yeah.
Friday, we'll be back tomorrow night. Friday, we have Senator Kochi. He's going to give us an update of all of basically the legislative update for the state of Hawaii. That'll be Friday. So please join us Friday night at 7:00. But ladies and gentlemen, I, again, will just ask all of you. First of all, I want to thank all of you for always jumping on this Facebook Live. What started off as a little project over a year ago now is, we're getting the message across, and that's what we're going to continue to do. I just ask you guys, please, please, please follow the rules. If not for you, do it for your grandma, your grandpa, your kids, your mom, your dad. Do it for somebody that you love. I, you know, every time you go out, you risk injuring or killing somebody. That is the truth. We don't have to be so paranoid and scared that, we're afraid to step outside of the door, but yet we also got to understand the danger of this virus, that it's nothing to play around with, that it is actually, it's real. And we're seeing it. And as the numbers grow, I think people will be more attentive. But the objective here is to not make that numbers grow to the point where everybody's freaking out. Let's flatten the curve. Government cannot do it alone. They need our help. You heard the chief last night. Plead to us, help them, help us. And that's my message tonight to all of you. Thank you guys so much. Again, Ed, appreciate you being on the call. We'll do it again. All of you guys, if you keep sending the comments, the questions, the complaints, send it to my messenger. We'll get through them as soon as we can. And I appreciate you guys' patience and understanding. But as well, as far as that goes, I'm going to get you guys out of here early tonight, 8 o'clock. You guys have a great evening. Love you guys all. God bless. We'll see you guys tomorrow night. Aloha.
Aloha.